Oh my goodness. We got a nice result. 3 more goals for the U.S. men's national team. We're going to get into it like we do on your favorite Average Good podcast. You know what? Hit like and subscribe, and let's get after it. Hi, hello, and welcome to your favorite Good to Average podcast. You like what I did? Kind of switched up. Just keeping you on your toes. Doesn't matter. Welcome to the show. Call it what you want. Listen. Another game for the U.S. men's national team. Another 3 goals, 3-0 this time over Costa Rica in Orlando to tie up this January camp with a nice little bow. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Charlie Davies. And Chuck, it started, we had a good goal in the first half, 1-0. Diego Luna with a dime to Brian White, who did some work there and got it to the back post, make it 1-0. We were in complete control of the game for good portions of it. Zack Steffen did make a couple good saves. We'll get in the starting lineup in a second. But the last 15 minutes, some subs came on. Caden Clark, Patrick Agyemang, and finished the job. 3-0. Some impressive performances. Something that we should need to look at. We'll get into that. But your overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts, considering, you don't want to take away from the performance given that it's January camp and Costa Rica is not that strong. But I absolutely love the fight, the commitment, the buy-in to what Pochettino is doing with this U.S. men's national team, the mentality, all of it. And the players that are coming into camp are making the most of the opportunities. I absolutely love this because we've seen this game in the past, and it's been really tough to watch. And, there were parts of this match that were slow. The ball wasn't snapping around as quick as we'd like. But ultimately, the players showed up that we were hoping would show up. And I got to give a lot of credit to Zack Steffen. He was good with the
very
ball.
Good save.
Forget about the saves. Like we know what he's capable with his feet, with his saves, right? His shot stopping. We for the most part know what he's capable of. But it was his all-around game, whether it was throwing the ball to start the attack, whether it was using his feet, he seemed calm. Hey, I'm feeling that. I really liked what I saw from Zack Steffen. I liked what I saw from DeJuan Jones throughout that game. He was calm. He wasn't rushing. He wasn't at 100 miles per hour all the time like we usually see. He was able to change his paces. And then Diego Luna, he's got his nose busted. And Jimmy, you know how hard it is when you get a hit to the nose. Your eyes are watering. He's bleeding from both nostrils. And it was so easy for Pochettino to say, hey, it's easy. You don't have to go back in. And Diego was like, you're going to have to rip me off the field. And for him to come back on the field and have that assist, round of applause.
Yeah,
that's the commitment. That's the character.
No, I love it. I love it. And we want to make sure that here, especially for recap shows where we go live after games, we need your comments. We want to talk about it. We want to read them. We want to have some good laughs. How quickly can we make Charlie get triggered? One of the questions was, how many broken noses did I have over the years? I think I probably suffered more concussions than broken noses. I had 2 broken jaws. I got one time, Chuck, I went to go, ball was bouncing up over the top, and I went to go down to kind of head it, and somebody went to go reach and kick, and it kicked me right in the face. And
I've seen that play happen so many times.
My lip split like in half. My top of my lip split in half, and they had to stitch me up at halftime. It was disgusting. If you've never seen,
you went back in?
Of course I went back in. That's why I'm on the radio, baby, because I have
you're badass. Jimmy Conrad is badass.
I have my days. I have my moments. I appreciate that. Yeah, of course. But it was nasty looking. If you've ever seen a lip split, yeah, it's not I look better now. That's probably the best way to say it. But let's get into the starting 11. You do too. There's no question. You've always looked good though. All right, let's get to the starting 11. I want to get your thoughts overall. Zack Steffen, hell of a performance, made some great saves, go with his feet. I ultimately, to paraphrase what you were saying, Chuck, he had a lot of presence. He owned his space, owned his box, communication looked good, all that stuff looked great. You had Miles Robinson playing right back, Walker Zimmerman partnering with Tim Ream in the middle, DeJuan Jones playing left side, even though he was pushing forward and sometimes joining in the midfield. Kramaski and Anelli were in the midfields. Kind of at the double sixes, though I think Kramaski is a little bit more of an 8. You had Vasilev on the right, Diego Luna at the 10, Gutierrez on the left side of that kind of 4-2-3-1, and then up top you had Brian White, who ended up getting the goal. There's these I want to say it now because I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle, but what I've identified through these 2 games under Pochettino, and I thought it was more evident tonight, And I don't know if that was because of the influence of Diego Luna, who I really like his game. I like the way that he finds pockets of space. I like how quickly he plays, right? There's a nice tempo to his game. And he also has a really good feel. I think he's got a good feel for the game as to when to play first time and when to maybe keep it and attack the space that's in front of him, right? Some good awareness, and I thought he did it. What's really cool about the goal, if you haven't seen the replay of it, the first goal that he sets up, he's actually gets himself in a good spot, and you can see him make like an arm movement, like I need somebody to make a run, and then Brian White times it well, and it's a good pass, and he finishes it. But the kid's seeing it on another level, and he's got a feel for the game that I really like. Okay, but stripping that away from Diego Luna, there's these passing patterns that are emerging. We saw it with our A team, where you could see Christian come inside and he would try to combine, right? He'd come inside, he'd lay it off to what he was facing, then he'd try to spin it and get it again. I saw a lot of that tonight against the Ticos in particular. And another thing that I'm seeing too is there'll be an option where somebody's out wide with the ball, and then they'll play it to someone central, follow their pass centrally, which is really hard to mark, get it again with their head up, and now they can make another pass that can break the lines. I love that. If I was coaching, I'd be coaching the same stuff. I really like that style of play because I do think it unlocks defenses. And yes, I'm getting soccer nerd pretty early into the show, Chuck. And yeah, 6 minutes in, and I'm already getting kind of soccer nerd on everybody. But I love the
I'm enjoying you're cooking. I'm enjoying it.
I'm absolutely cooking. So before we got into
I got my fireplace on. I'm letting you cook.
I appreciate that. I'm feeling it. I wish I had some marshmallows to toast on that right for some s'mores. But overall, I thought it was a good performance. One of the things that I think we should always take into consideration, no matter what, we're watching the U17s, U20s, U23s, the January camp team, our A team, it doesn't matter. Is the team that we're playing against, Chuck, are we better than they are? In this game, yes, we were better. Like on paper before it started, we were better than the Ticos, okay? And then, were we better when the game got played out? And that's important because there were times throughout even my time with the national team where we would play to the level of our competition. And what I feel like we're demonstrating now more consistently, even under Berhalter, is that we are playing better than our opponents. And I really appreciate that. And under the short tenure of Mauricio Pochettino, I feel like we've seen that consistently outside of the Mexico game. But we're playing better. We should be beating these teams, and we are. And we're doing it with some pretty good goals. Okay, I'm done talking. Keep going.
No, that was awesome. And
Thank you.
I see Kelly Broderick. She said that Mauricio Pochettino said that Diego Luna has some grande huevos, some big balls to go in and play. And also, she said this was the most fun January camp I've watched in a long time. Such a fun group of players.
I agree with that.
I have to agree. Kelly, grand slam. You hit that out of the park. That's a que golazo comment.
Que golazo.
What I think it's this group is young and humble for the most part, right? Young for the most part, but humble, hungry, and willing to learn and do whatever it takes. And that you could sense the amount of pride, but also the energy and the happiness of being able to represent the United States men's national team. And so I think from that standpoint, I couldn't be more pleased with this January camp, because what's the goal? The goal is to give the next group of players that aren't necessarily ready for the first team, or maybe haven't been given the opportunity to play with the first team, get a look with Mauricio Pochettino and his staff. And also to have an idea of, okay, what does that next level look like? How do I get there? What do they think I have in terms of my potential? What do they think I have in terms of my quality? And I think every player, for the most part, was able to come in and say, hey, I think I can add this to the team. Or, a player like Patrick Agyemang. We saw over these two games, he's raw, but does he have the potential to be effective and a game changer, a goal scorer at the top level? Yeah, I think he does. I love the way he has this confidence, but also with a killer instinct. He's having fun. This is a player that you say, you know what? If you're ever taking a flyer on, and he's got Dean Smith as his coach, which I also love, someone who's had the professional experience coaching in the Premier League. They got Wilfred Zaha coming in. I think that will help Patrick Agyemang. This is a player that I'm really going to have my eye on throughout this MLS season. Zack Steffen bring him back into the fold, seeing what he can do, pushing, because a lot of people are like, I don't know if he's ready. I think he's too injured, or his knees aren't good enough. Hey, Zack Steffen said, you got another thing coming. Me coming to MLS and getting playing time and building myself back up has put me back into the conversation. And today, 2 big chances, 2 big saves.
Both of them were good saves. That second one, when I think about saves and goalkeepers, there's also the timely save, right? Where games are won or lost at that moment. Are you going to step up? I mean, I'll even look at the World Cup final in 2022, where Martinez makes that huge save on Colomani at the end, right? I mean, that changes everything. So having that timeliness, that presence to know when it's, obviously they want to make every save, but there are some ones that saves are different than others. And I thought he made a really timely save. We were going to win this game without. We were, well, regardless, but those are really important, especially to your point, Chuck, of him getting back into the team and then obviously demonstrating that he's good to go with a good performance. I thought there were pretty much good performances all over. We're going to get into our winners and losers. I'm going to put air quotes around losers. I don't think there were really any losers in either of these games.
There was not a loser in this camp.
Maybe there's some players that didn't take full advantage of their opportunity, but I wouldn't say there was any performances like that guy is dog shit. There's not that nobody hit that level. So that's nice. And I'm happy that we don't have to go there. That'll be next segment though. So let's get into kind of this overall game, Chuck, and let's just start. Usually we go from the back to the front, but as our resident number 9, I'm going to start with you. Brian White got his opportunity to start, got a goal. What were you thinking about his performance overall? And then we'll get into Agyemang.
This was Brian White's best U.S. men's national team performance. I think Brian White could have easily had a hat trick in this game. And unfortunately, as good as that first goal was, and I love the run coming off the back shoulder and cutting back inside, it causes the defender to continue to look over his shoulder. He doesn't know where you are. And by the time he looks, you're already on the run. And it was a fantastic finish. He also had another chance in that first half. And then the second half, when he chops the defender and misses the goal, I feel for him because I think it would have needed him. It would have had to take him to score 3 goals to get that real push to get to another look. But given that, I think he had a great game. He was busy. He made good runs. He was active. He was getting chances, and he scored a fantastic goal. So I'm really pleased.
You also said he shouldn't start, right?
Yeah. I mean, would you rather see him or Patrick Agyemang, to be honest?
Agyemang, of course. But shout out to him for making the most of his opportunity. And
that's what I said.
You're giving him his flowers. I'm not saying otherwise. I got a stat here. At 28 years, this is from OptaJack. At 28 years, 354 days old, Brian White is the oldest player to score his first career goal since Matt Beasler did it in September 2016.
Damn.
I will say that I had to be in this list at some point because I was like 29 years and 360 days old when I scored my only goal for the. Can we roll that clip? Because I live off of that clip. It pays my bills. I love it. Okay, so let's talk Agyemang. So I want to talk about him in 2 ways because he started the first game, got a goal. And I think what's valuable for him, and maybe even more valuable than starting a game and getting a goal, though that's valuable, is him coming off the bench and still being like, I can make a difference against tired legs. And he had a very well taken goal at the very end there to make it 3-0. That's where, if he's going to break into the first team at all, if we're talking about any players that have a chance, I think an attacking player might have the best chance because that's when you would rely on maybe giving somebody a shot. We can look back at World Cups in the past, right, where coaches took players and took chances on players because they were like Herculez Gomez comes to mind, right? He got really hot at the right time and ends up making the 2010 team. Edson Buttle's another one. And they get hot at the right time and you take him. Brian Ching was red hot in the World Cup I played in 2006. They brought him. It was between him and Twellman. They took Ching. But that guy was scoring crazy clip. So to your point, if Agyemang can light up MLS right now, maybe there's a role for him to at least give him a chance coming off the bench to see what he can do with the first team. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying it could. And for him to demonstrate that he can be trusted either as a starter or as a sub, I think is really important.
I couldn't agree more with you. And the fact that he scored that second goal with his left foot and he smashed it, it just gives him, I think, more options as a goal scorer, knowing that he's big, he's got the hold up play, but he's also pacey for his size. He can get down the wings. You saw when he dummied it to himself and ran down. I thought that was pretty impressive to create a chance for himself, to create something on the dribble. Of course, he lost at the end, but that he's still growing. He's a late bloomer. And I think he's just going to continue to grow. And with the more experience you get at the higher level, the more you crave it, the more you work. So I think he's in a great spot. And look at the depth chart right now for that number 9, right? So Ricardo Pepi, Balogun when he's healthy, right? Those two are locks.
Right.
We can agree with that. Then, as good as Josh Sargent has been with Norwich, it's only been with Norwich. And I think he needs to move to get into a top league in a different country and see what he can do. You have Haji Wright, who plays on the wing, but he can play number 9. And then Brendan Vasquez, who just makes the move now to MLS. After that, Agyemang is the next guy, right?
Well, there's a good question there from Josh. What's up, Josh? Another JC. I got plenty of time for JC, especially you in the community. What's up, everybody? Agyemang better? The question is to you, Chuck, as a resident 9. Is Agyemang better than a healthy Daryl Dike or Jordan Pefok?
Yes. The answer is yes.
A healthy Daryl Dike, though, feels like a contradiction.
Yeah. And you know, I've gotten to see Daryl Dike from college all the way up and see how much he's worked on his game and how effective he was. But I think Agyemang has a little bit more range to his game. The ability to dribble, I think that's evident. To be able to do a dummy and do that, like that's not Daryl Dike's game. In terms of finishing, you know, in and around the box, I think Agyemang has a little bit of an edge. So yeah, I think Agyemang has a lot more upside, and it's so unfortunate for Daryl Dike because he never really got to fulfill his potential. You know, and trust me, I know what injuries do to players. So
no,
I just hope he can get back and have a healthy run of games.
You know what's interesting? I'm going to reference the Brian Ching Taylor Twellman thing back when in 2005, 2006. Those guys.
Really break before everyone, because I know in the chats people are going to be asking. I want you to really break it down, because I remember hearing a lot of stories how heated Taylor Twellman was with Bruce Arena, and how this thing was masked between Ching and Twellman, and how competitive it was, and he thought he should make it versus, you know, where was Ching at? Where was Twellman at? How close really was it? And did they make the right decision? You know, in your mind?
Well, Brian Ching didn't end up playing. He went, but he didn't end up playing or getting into any of the games. So it's hard to say who would have been a better fit.
Right.
You had Brian McBride, who was going to start until proven otherwise. You had Eddie Johnson, who, when we know he's hot and confident, that guy's unplayable, right? So you already had two really different types of player profiles with those two. And then you had a Landon or a Clint, and obviously Clint didn't start that first game, but did start the second one against Italy, and then now obviously took it from there and started pretty much every other U.S. game after that. So you had these options, and Bees was still playing a little bit higher. So I feel like the dynamic of the team, you had Claudio Reyna and John O'Brien and Pablo Mastroianni in your midfield as your options. So I don't know if there was really any room. It was more at that point. I think Bruce looked at it, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I feel like he looked at it as, how will this personality fit in with the group? And if they're not playing, will they be a distraction? I don't know if that would have worked against Taylor or not, but I really feel like those were some of the intangibles that they were weighing at that point. And if McBride gets hurt, maybe Brian Ching is a bigger body, right? That'll be more of a like-for-like replacement. Though right. Taylor is a hell of a goal scorer, and he has a real knack for getting himself in good spots to make plays and to finish chances. Maybe there was something about that, just protecting or trying to have a like-for-like for McBride, because we had other dynamic players that maybe Landon and Clint weren't the traditional number 9s, but you could throw them up there if you wanted. So that's my take on that. But leading up to it, Chuck, dude, those guys were scoring crazy. I don't know if Ivis can help us in the chat, but they had maybe 20 goals each in MLS. I mean, Chingy was scoring 4 goals a game, and then Taylor would like have a hat trick the next week. I mean, there was something I mean, I don't remember Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire. People are gonna roll their eyes on that comparison.
But it was like that.
Yeah, it was like week for week. There was like trying to one up each other to see who could get it, and they were playing at a crazy level.
Did you ever think both of them would make the team, or you knew it was only one?
No, I only thought one was going to make the team, and they knew only one was probably going to make the team, which added to the intrigue, right? Like, oh my God, these guys are scoring, and then when they get the national team, they'd be scoring too. You know, I remember leading into the World Cup, we played Japan in San Francisco, and Taylor scored in that game, and I thought, oh, well, he scored. I think he's gonna book his ticket, you know. But they ended up going with Chingy, and I'm sure Taylor's got plenty of regret about how that all went down. Just got to get a couple adult beverages in him, and I'm sure he's got a good version of that story. But when I think about what these guys are going to do, like this is going to be the window for a lot of these guys. And Agyemang's still young, but I could start to see, okay, they might not be playing in the same league, but if DK can get healthy, cool. If he's got a goal, Agyemang's going to be at home like, dude, I got to get a goal, right? And you just start to. That's what you want. You want these guys competing in a really healthy way, and we had it. And it happened. I saw it in real time, and it was remarkable and a really fun time to see who can make the team because the window was running out. These guys weren't going to be a part of the next cycle, you know. So I went down memory lane there.
I gotta hit you with this one. Allison Bailey in the chat. Great question. Luna versus Busio. Who do you take if you could bring one?
I mean, they're different players. No, I mean,
all right, but think of the player pool.
Yeah, okay. We're stocked, and in central midfield we have so many options. I'm sure. So wait. You got to work with me here on this one. Can we workshop this together, Chuck?
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's work.
So Luna. Okay, so Luna has these abilities that not that Busio can't make that final pass, but the way that Luna likes to connect and play, I really like his game. Busio feels a little bit more of a deep line playmaker. Will start to play a little bit deeper.
Like a deeper 8.
I like a deeper 8. And then he's
not a 6, but he's deeper 8.
He's gotten very good. And I've seen it more consistently from him for his club and when he plays for the US as well, where he starts to join the attack really late as well. And his timing of when he's doing that, this is Busio, has been excellent. Yeah. Luna, for me, I need to see him against stiffer competition, frankly. I'm not even speaking at the club level. I'm saying at the national team. I want him to go up against a really good, tough opponent where there's not a lot of space, where guys aren't going to get tired after 15 minutes. And I want to see Luna in that. And maybe we saw it in the last January camp, right? Who did we play? Slovakia or Slovenia? Those guys were, yeah, they might not have been like great technically, but man, they closed the space down. And I remember Luna being one of the only few players that was trying to actually play through that. And that was a rough game to watch. I remember being really not that fun, but I don't know. I'd still say Busio at this point. He's got more experience and he's played in bigger games and played in the Olympics and all this stuff.
Midfield is the single toughest position to break into at this U.S. men's national team.
100%.
There's too much depth.
100%.
Wait, from Weston to Tyler Adams to Busio to Tessman to Tillman to Johnny Cardoso to Aiden Morris. You know, it's like then you have Paxton and Brendan who are now Paxton's breaking in. That's another great one. Luna versus Paxton.
Because Paxton,
it's hard to measure because Paxton's grown so much over the past 6 months. Like he's got on a rocket ship, right?
That's crazy how deep we are in central midfield.
I'm loving all the central midfield options. I mean,
there's a lot.
You can go in so many different directions. I also love the fact that Mauricio Pochettino is playing these different systems and moving players around. And as soon as I saw Miles Robinson and playing right back, I go, oh, this is going to be that back 3, you know, where he rotates DeJuan Jones inside, right? And you could see how the players are loving it. They love the flexibility. They're vibing with it. I think they're growing with it. It's asking more of them to understand the game, the IQ, the movements. It's phenomenal.
I agree with you. There's been a lot of great rotations. I think Tim and Walker both step into midfield at some point because they won a ball, and then they just kept staying in the space because somebody else had rotated behind them, or they had Miles would drop in behind them, or DeJuan, and it just felt there's a nice comfort level in terms of spacing. You can tell they talked spacing and team shape a lot, and I don't really have much to add on the defensive line. I thought they were really solid. Yeah, 1 or 2 chances. Steffen came in and made the save. That's what he gets paid to do. And yeah, you could tell there was a lot of experience on that back line. All right, we're taking our first break and call what you want. When we come back, we will get into winners and not so much losers, but people that didn't take their opportunity. Stay right here with us. Don't go anywhere.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale! Ronaldo! Wonderful goal!
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
All right. So before we get into the winners and not so winners, and welcome back into Call What You Want. So we're going to analyze Pochettino's first January camp and of course, get into that. But he named Mauricio Pochettino. I don't know if you saw this or not, Chuck. He named his all-time top 3 U.S. men's national team players.
I saw it.
And newsflash, we're not on it. And Chuck, it's all when I think about Pochettino, I in his selections, it makes me think he's never seen us play before, Chuck. Otherwise, I think we'd be in consideration. Especially me, a hardworking center back like himself. I feel like I'd be a mirror image of Mauricio Pochettino. All right, we want your comments. Keep those coming. Some good action there in the first segment. We want to keep that going here in segment number 2. But so to make sure people that didn't see it, he had Tim Howard, he had Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey as his all-time top 3. He didn't put them in order. He just named a top.
No, yes he did. Yes he did.
He did.
He went Tim Howard 1. He went Landon Donovan 2, and he went
did
Clint Dempsey 3. He definitely went in order.
Interesting. Okay.
And what's interesting is of all the US guys, right, that played for him, it was Brad Friedel, right? You would have thought Brad Friedel would have got into his top 3.
Right. That's true.
But
so wait, who's everybody's top 3? Top 3 all time?
All time.
What are you saying?
Well, the thing is,
it's
if you're gonna go recency bias, right? So it's Landon. I mean, it's Landon, Clint, and Christian Pulisic. Yeah, those are the top 3.
I mean, even if you don't think Pulisic is number 1 at the moment, which he's to making a strong case for that,
I feel
it's only a matter of time before he becomes the number 1.
It doesn't
just based
feel
on numbers
right.
alone. He's gonna have all the numbers, so you might as well
But does it feel right to not have Tim Howard in the top 3?
It does. It doesn't feel right to have him in there. Listen, I'm still a staunch supporter of. I don't think DeMarcus Beasley gets the love that he deserves. That dude should have played in 5 World Cups, but we crashed out and didn't qualify.
Hey, no one's saying that Bees wasn't a top player, but we're talking top 3.
No, I get it.
Top 3 is different. Stop with that.
I love Bees.
Bees is a legend, but we're talking top 3, bro.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so Landon, Clint, and Christian are probably top 3.
That's who I would go with, but I'd feel
big goals to back it up.
I'd feel bad not having Tim Howard in it, and he's a goalie. That's unfortunately, I'm glad that Tony's not here because he'd be like, "What's your problem with goalies?"
What do you say?
And actually, he'd be like this, Jimmy. He'd be like this first
because he'd be on mute.
He's always on mute.
Always on mute.
He's pounding his keyboard with his thick fingers.
We used to call him banana fingers because his fingers look like bananas.
Seriously, he's like, "Oh, hold on, guys," and he gets his glasses and he's hold on. All right,
banana hands. He had banana hands.
You got a great picture of Tony.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's unbelievable,
picture, Tony.
Yeah, so it's hard to get away from the 3 names that we mentioned, but definitely room for some others who are right there. There.
During the broadcast, Kyle Martino was like, "Oh, the goalkeeper position. It's really hard to say who's number 1. Matt Turner's maybe 1, but the pool's not that deep." He goes back when it was Brad Friedel, Casey Keller, and Tim Howard. I'm like, whoa! Don't forget about our guy Tony Meola. He was on the O2 team.
He was on the O2 team.
He didn't even mention Tony. Tony's one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time in our country.
I know. And I know 6. It was Marcus Hanneman. Give shout out to Redbird, who never saw a dip that he didn't want to put into his mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to Marcus Hanneman. But yeah, so in
Hey,
06.
shout out to Nick. You want to do that? Shout out to Nick Raimondo.
Raimondo. I went to college with Raimondo. I've known that guy forever. What a career he's had. Yeah. Wow, we could go down memory lane for sure on.
So your top three are who though?
Yeah, those are the top three: Landon, Clinton, Christian.
You know, the guy that I would say top three, but he's not real top three, but most underrated top three.
Okay.
Marcelo Balboa.
Don't get me started.
Marcelo Balboa is absolute legend. Number 2, Eddie Pope.
Eddie Pope. Hey, listen, you're talking center backs.
I know. That's what I'm saying. These are the most underrated top 3. And number 3, John O'Brien.
That guy was tasty. Really good.
When you play at Ajax at that level back in the day, you know, in terms of technical ability, you're amongst the best in the world for your position for your age.
Chuck, this is pre-internet and pre-cell phone.
Yeah.
Johnny grew up in my area he's a couple years younger than me, and we would hear about this kid. You get everybody starts talking. Oh, he's over there, Johnny O'Brien, and the guy. I mean, it was like men versus boys.
When you saw him the first time,
he's like 12 years old. It's like men versus boys. It's just a joke. He could be smoking a cigarette, sipping a cappuccino out there playing. It was. I understand why Ajax recruited him, and I understand why they brought him over as early as they did. Special talent for sure. There's no question. The game's so easy. So easy.
We had so many ballers during like when I was the first team I got to watch was 1994. I'm sure you got to watch the 1982 team for the first time.
Wow, it's part of the 1950 team. I've seen them all.
Yeah. Oh, you played with Gachins. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. You know when he's on somebody's shoulders? It's me. I'm carrying him actually on that famous photo.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Lord.
Let's tie it back though. Let's bring it back. Okay,
All
let's
right.
get those comments going. Let's get whose stock do you think rose the most? You want to maybe do a top 3 of whose stock rose the most in this camp? I'll go Zack Steffen. I actually think his performance tonight, if he didn't have a chance to make those saves, I wonder if we'd be talking. We'd be like, all right, cool, good, solid performance.
No,
but
we
does
wouldn't.
he have those chances?
We wouldn't. We would have said,
Right.
He didn't make any mistakes with his feet. But
I think his stock rose.
His feet were good and the saves. 100%, Jimmy.
Top 3, his stock raise? I don't know. We'll keep talking about it, but I think Zack
Okay.
Steffen's in the conversation for sure.
Okay.
Okay, you go next.
Agyemang. Patrick
Agyemang, for sure, 100%. He could be number 1, to be honest. I might have pushed Zack Steffen out of number 1. That could be Agyemang for sure.
You went recency bias with Steffen, but Steffen is definitely top 3.
I would say McGlynn. I don't know if he's in my top 3, but I think his stock rose. He did get a yellow for diving.
He's not as good off the bench. He's not a player that's good off the bench.
Yeah, right. Sometimes you need to
to
find the
grow
rhythm
into
of the game.
Yeah. You could tell.
I thought Diego Luna for sure. His stock rose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he did as much coming off the bench, but when Pochettino goes out of his way to talk about you in the post-game press conference by saying how big your balls are, I think you definitely rose in some type of estimation, whether it's courage, bravery, and obviously he demonstrated he's got some quality as well. So I think he's a part of the conversation. Is he the top 3? I don't know. Who else we got?
Oof.
We have.
You said. Did you say DeJuan Jones?
I did not say DeJuan Jones.
I thought he did well today.
Okay.
Well enough to get pushed up.
So you got 2 here's 2 for all of us to talk about. You have 2, Caden Clark and Brian White, who both scored.
Yeah.
Was that enough to what's interesting? And I'm going to use Indiana Vasilev as an example. When he got subbed out today, he looked that guy puts in a shift. That guy is all over the place and working his ass off, and I've got plenty of time for that. But it felt like when I watch body language, or I'm looking for body language, and when he got subbed off, I think he knows he probably won't get another chance.
Yeah, he lost his
he looked heartbroken when he came off. Like that might be the last time I wear a US shirt. I don't know. I might be speculating, but and projecting onto him, but that's kind of what it looked like. And
he's not ready either.
Right. He's definitely part of that conference. It's so hard to break into that spot anyway. We have a lot of options there, but that was the vibe I got from him. And I wonder if Caden Clark and Brian White kind of fall into the same space. Now, maybe if Vasilev had scored, he'd be feeling a little bit different, but I don't know if those 2 guys are going to break in either in terms of like their stock rising. Did they make the most of their opportunity? I don't think so. Though they scored.
No,
How about Miljevic? Where do you on Matko
no.
Miljevic?
I'm not
Not a fan.
I don't think he did enough.
The stock didn't rise.
Think about where he plays too. No way.
Yeah.
And he just didn't show enough to like.
Okay. Who else we got? Well, I
Do
think
we-
Matt.
oh.
Can I say that Matt Freese probably his stock fell because he's the only player that didn't play. He couldn't break into playing the goalkeeper. That means I don't know if he didn't
No,
shoot well or what.
I think George Campbell's also a down.
George Campbell's a down. Yeah. His feet were not good.
No, Matt Freese, George Campbell, because Matt Freese didn't play, unfortunately.
Right. What about Shaq Moore? I don't know more Shaq Moore. Is that kind of is that
I don't. He needed to improve his stock, and he didn't improve his stock.
okay? How about Anelli in the middle of midfield?
I thought he was good with like his movement, but he's not great with the ball at his feet. You know, he's good at breaking up plays. I feel like his movement was pretty good, but in terms of the ball at his feet in that position, because he plays right back, right? In
Well,
the club.
he moved into the middle of the field as the season progressed. But what I thought was fun, he was playing real safe to start, and he reminded me. We used to call Carey Zavagnin, who played with me in Kansas City with the U.S. I called him the 10 freeway because the 10 freeway only goes east and west. You know,
Yeah.
never playing forward, baby. And at times, if you are going to unlock or help the team unlock in transition, the 6 has to be able to be looking over his shoulder and is there an entry pass to potentially break a line? And initially, okay, I'm getting him the benefit of the doubt here because, hey, getting his first start for the U.S., I know it. We both know it. It's a little nerve-wracking. You just don't want to make any mistakes until the game settled down a little bit. And then he started to look to play forward. What's interesting is he had the assist on Caden Clark's goal, and even then he didn't go forward. He just went – it still was a cross side to side. I'm like, God, he even gets an assist and it's side to side. It's crazy. But I would want to if I got to see him again, and maybe when he goes back and plays for Pablo at RSL, just like, can you find that can you play forward a little bit quicker if you have the opportunity to play forward quicker? And I felt like maybe his body shape was always looking to play side to side or backwards. And I feel like Lennard Maloney did the same thing when he played for the U.S. in a game where he just was playing really safe and not trying to overdo it, which I understand, but there are moments where we need you to play forward.
It was programmed into him at Heidenheim, but he just made the moves. So, you know, he went from Heidenheim to Mainz, and Mainz is competing now for European spots. So maybe he's going to play different. Who knows? But remember, this midfield is stacked, and it's stacked by relatively young players on top of that. So if you are in the midfield, you have to be like 2 or 3 times better than
right.
The expectations.
Exactly.
So
for one more midfielder we haven't talked about, Kromowski. I think the future's bright for him. I think he got a good look. He's one for the future. I don't know if his stock rose. Maybe he did. I mean, he trusted him, right, to play and start 2 games. And he actually, there's a couple moments where and it was
some
more
good passes. He has good vision, good passes.
And I thought what Pochettino will appreciate is doing the hard work, right? Yeah. He had that one play in the corner where the guy tried to take him on, and I thought he did a really good job of trying to block the cross. The guy pulled it back, and then he closed the ball. I like that. Those are the details, right? And if you're paying attention and busting your ass for the details, that's a really good sign. And I can sense that Pochettino and his coaching staff really appreciate those little moments. So I like seeing that. I'd say his stock rose. I don't think he's a top 3. But back line, Miles Robinson, no change for me. He delivered what I expected. Same with Walker, same with Tim Ream. So there's really not much to add there. And we talked about Shaq Moore and DeJuan Jones. So I don't know about my top 3.
If you had to give 3.
Top 3 winners, like the rose.
How about this?
Agyemang won.
No, I want to change it. Hold on. Not just winners. Give me 3 players out of this camp that would get called into the U.S. men's national team, A team. If you could only take 3, which
only
3
take
are you
3.
taking?
So you have to take 3.
You have to take 3. Based on this camp.
Okay.
Which 3 are you taking?
Agyemang and Zack Steffen.
Yep.
We didn't talk about Brian Gutierrez either. But who's solid? He's another one for the future.
Gutierrez is, I think he's too young,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a lot to grow into, but it was good just to get
Tim Ream. I mean, Tim Ream, feel like he'll already be there anyway. So do we not count him? Or are we looking for somebody outside of Tim Ream?
Yeah, I wouldn't count Tim Ream.
Okay. So Tim Ream's he's already locked in.
Call Tim Ream Old Yeller. Old Yeller. He's
doesn't Old Yeller die? I don't know if that's a good analogy. Okay, so Zack Steffen. I take Zack Steffen and Agyemang. Are you in agreement with that? Everybody watching in the comments?
I don't think there's a single person on here that would not say Steffen Agyemang right now.
Okay. So then it's that third.
Because you tripping if you're not going to say that. You are tripping if you're not going to say. Given the depth in the goalkeeper position, lack of depth, and given that Agyemang has this big potential, and he's also has a different profile. So, all right.
Okay. And then from there, I guess then it becomes a little bit more.
I'm curious to see where you're going at this one.
Well, I think it's situational. If you're going to bring in Gio
don't
Reyna,
give me that. Who are you bringing?
If you're going to bring in Gio Reyna for March, then you don't need to have Diego Luna there as well.
That's 110 though. And who you think Gio's going to play 90?
No, he's definitely not going to play 90.
Are you not going to call in Jack McGlynn, are you?
I probably wouldn't call in Jack McGlynn.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go through.
This is everybody healthy, right? This is our first team's healthy.
Yeah.
Whew. You're just trying to get a look. Some guy. I mean, there's some value in this. Especially this is more beneficial, I think, to attacking players. You could bring in an attacking player to a camp and say, we're just going to drop you in and let's see if you can hold your own. Not that you couldn't do that to defensive players, but for attacking players, you can take a risk. You can bring them off the bench. They're higher up the field. If they
here's a tank full of sharks. I'm going to drop you in, see if you can survive. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, in some ways. Now, listen, I've gone to bat for him before. I'll do it again. I'll say I wouldn't be upset if Walker Zimmerman was there in March, if only to prove to Ivis that he should be there. And to all the haters out there. But Miles Robbins could be another center back. You could bring in Walker or Miles, probably one of the two. But if you wanted to see a little spicy, you want to see if you wanted to really test one of your younger attacking players, then bring them in and see what they got. The hard part is you've been at these camps.
The chat's going crazy. They go, we knew Jimmy was going to say Zimmerman.
I waited.
Zimmerman. You are a Zimmerman.
You're a DeJuan Jones man.
No, I'm not. I didn't say DeJuan Jones is going to be.
Well, you're waiting for me to say Zimmerman first so that you could say DeJuan Jones.
Because I knew you were going to say Zimmerman. I would have bet $1,000 you were going to say Zimmerman.
Yeah. Right. We'll see. I'm actually very curious as to who Pochettino will elect to bring in from this camp outside of Tim Ream, because I think he's already going.
I'm going to say
Steffen, I think, will go in.
No, I'll tell you right now, just the impact you saw. Mauricio Pochettino putting on the jersey of this kid with his broken nose and no blood all over the place. One, I've never seen a coach help a player put on his jersey. Two, the guy goes, "You're not taking me out. I don't care what you tell me." You got
Diego Luna then. All right.
And it's 100%.
He's bringing him. He's bringing him.
He got right into Mauricio Pochettino's heart right here. The way he went in and fought. Done. That's the Argentine, right? It's like the Simeone. Do you have it? He's got it.
Well, I love you, Chuck. I love you, chat. And we're going to take a break because we got some
love y'all, chat.
Champions League to get into, because there were some big performances over these last couple days and some crazy results. Don't go anywhere.
Blueberry Fuzz.
Join us.
Zimmerman. Yeah.
All right, welcome back into Call What You Want. We are Tony Miola less this show, and I feel like we're a little less without him. We miss you, Big Tones.
I'm surprised Ivis didn't reach through the computer like Matrix style and give you one whack and be like, it's not Zimmerman I want into camp, it's Jackson Reagan. Boom.
Ivis loves Jackson Reagan. All right.
Ivis Gallersip is a Jackson Reagan super fan.
So chat, if you didn't know that, now you know. Here's something we got for you to dig your teeth into. We'll get into it eventually as we get through all the information around the Champions League. But Gio Reyna and Cole Campbell are two Americans at the black and yellow Borussia Dortmund. Have an interim boss at Dortmund after they sacked Nuri Şahin. Who do you think should be their permanent head coach? What would be a nice fit for these two players in particular? That's what we want to know. But let's get into our match day 7 recap of the Champions League group stages, the new formats, which has actually been pretty exciting. I'm not going to lie. Bologna came back and beats the black and yellow 2-1. Reyna started and got subbed off in the 64th minute. Dortmund were up 1-0. They could not see it out. That cost Nuri Şahin his job. Monaco, without Flo Balogun, beat Aston Villa 1-0. Red Star Belgrade, they ended up losing to PSV 3-2 in Belgrade. 3 goals were scored in the first half. They were up 3-0 PSV, 2 of them by Luke de Jong. We're on. Listen, Chuck, we were calling for this guy to retire already because he missed a penalty and he's getting a little older, getting a little slower. And then he shows up in the Champions League and scores 2 goals for PSV. Ricardo Pepi comes off the bench in the 86th minute. We got a free Ricardo Pepi. Peter Bosch, start playing this guy more. Start him. Yeah,
I feel for Ricardo Pepi. Like, this is the worst situation when you're producing, but you have a Dutch international in front of you who is the captain and the coach loves, and no matter what, he's always getting the benefit of the doubt. No matter what, and you just have to sit there and just take it and keep fighting. It builds resilience. It builds character, and I love that he's willing to stay and fight. But this summer, I'm telling you right now, it's almost like his agent has to go and say, either Luke de Jong's out or we're out. It's one of the two.
Dang, you should be his agent, Chuck. I like that.
I should.
I run through a wall for you right now, Chuck, with that statement.
Pay me the money. Show me the money.
Former U.S. men's national team player Ernie Stewart, sporting director of PSV, has come out and stated that Pepi will not be sold or be looking for a new team or going to a new team in January. He's going to have to wait for the summer. He didn't say that part, but it sounds like he's going to have to wait for the summer. And hopefully Chuck's his agent. Chuck's got property all over the world, so that might not be a bad look, all things considered. AC Milan, 1-0 win over Girona. Yunus Musa starts. He ended up hitting the post. Nice to see him get involved in the attack. Yeah, hit the inside of the post. Unfortunately, didn't go in. Pulisic makes his return, gets subbed on in the 75th minutes. Didn't have a goal contribution, but Rafael Leao did what they needed to do. Big 3 points for Milan. And then Celtic getting a late deflected goal to beat Young Boys 1-0. Both Cameron Carter-Vickers and Austin Trusty start that game. And that's looking good for Celtic to finish in the top 16. Definitely in the top 24, I should say. And they're not actually outside of they go to Aston Villa in the last match day. Villa need to win. Villa's in 9th. So Villa needs to win to really hopefully book their ticket for the top 8. If you're in the top 8 under the new Champions League format, you already in the round of 16. And the other 16 teams will play a 2-legged affair to book their ticket for the round of 16. So it's been interesting, a change in the format for sure. But you see Juve with their 0-0 draw against Club Brugge. Tim Weah started that one. Weston McKennie subbed on in the 76th minute. Juve is 17th
place. Good
Celtic, 18th place, 19th PSV. Man City are actually out. They're, as it stands right now, there's one more match day next week. Man City.
And they play Club Brugge the last match day. So with a win, they're in. But
yeah, wow.
Damn.
I know. And they were up 2-0 on PSG. Unbelievable. It's been a lot of fun. But let's get back to the black and yellow, because let's talk Gio Reyna. Under Lucien Favre, he had 8 appearances when he was the manager, Favre. 451 minutes, 0 goals, 2 assists. He only played in the Champions League. This is a while back. Under Edin Terzic,
that was with Erling Haaland.
That's correct. Under Edin Terzic, all competitions, he made 44 appearances, Gio Reyna. He 1,404 minutes, 7 goals, 4 assists. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Under Nuri Şahin, 12 appearances, 325 minutes, 2 goals, 0 assists. Now, they have Mike Tulberg appointed as the interim. He's 39 years old, and he has been the Black and Yellow's U19 coach since 2020. And before that, he previously coached their U23s. So I'd like to think he's pretty familiar with Gio Reyna and Gio Reyna's game. I wonder, though, if there's going to be some type of energy, I would say, maybe from the, like, hey, they need to win and win now. Does that mean they're going to lean on Gio? They started him in a big game in the Champions League. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the result in Italy. What do you think about Gio's future? Do you think he plays more under Tulberg?
It'll be the same thing I've said from the very beginning. He needs a new club in the summer. Gio Reyna just needs to go to a new club in the summer, a fresh start where he's going to be counted on to play, to create opportunities where they see the player that he is, the potential, but they're going to play him. They're going to allow him the time to grow. And of course, fingers crossed, he stays healthy and he can manage his body. But ultimately, I think it's time to step out of the Dortmund shadow and move into a new direction.
Okay, I like that. Well, here's some of the potential candidates for the job. This one could, I don't know, maybe it makes people's eyes roll that he's going to jump back into a job after it not going so well at Manchester United. Erik ten Hag could be a person of interest that could be up for the job. We have,
but he wouldn't take it till the summer.
If I was him, I wouldn't take it till the summer either. You got to take a breather after managing Manchester United. Must take years off your life. We already seen Ruben Amorim, who looks like he's regretted every life decision since taking that job. Roger Schmidt, he sounds like he won't be available till the summer as well. You got Yogi Love, who I wonder if he would come back into it. 16 years coaching the German national team. But Ivis with a great comment in the chat. Yogi Love is the pick because he likes to pick his. Okay, it doesn't really matter. It's a bad joke, but I thought I'd share it because I thought it was also made me chuckle. So I appreciate that. And then Sebastian Onis would be the other option.
Hey, Irv Bernard from Dalton Harris.
Irv Bernard.
Hey, well done, Bernard. Dalton.
I love that. That's a nice callback. Irv Bernard. Best dressed coach in the world.
Dalton's a legend.
So I don't know which one would be the best fit for Gio and potentially Cole Campbell down the line. But Yogi Love would be interesting. He just seems like he always kind of carried that national team. He liked the pace and rhythm of coaching a national team. The club scene is obviously a lot different. So we'll have to wait and see. But obviously some news and maybe some things that could bend towards Gio Reyna as he hopefully gets more responsibility. Just stay healthy. That'll help go a long way. All right, last note before we let everybody go. We got some Americans on the move. Luca de la Torre, Chuck, going to San Diego FC on loan from Celta Vigo. We talked about this a little bit before. I don't even remember if you were on the show when we talked about it. But I said this, just to refresh your memory and everybody else that's listening / watching, that he seems like a complimentary guy. I referenced it. You're going to roll your eyes. You're going to have a good chuckle at this. I said that he was like Pippen. He's not a Michael Jordan. He's a Pippen, right? He seems like a complimentary guy. But if he goes to San Diego FC,
what about Ron Harper? You know, he could be
okay. Yeah, shout out to Ron Harper too, right? you got a whole list of guys that you could lean on. I haven't thought about Ron Harper for a long time, but I appreciate you bringing him back into the fold. But so. Now, though, if he goes to San Diego FC, an expansion team, he's from San Diego. He's got to be the guy, and I wonder if that fits his profile. Now they're saying Chucky Lozano can be the Jordan and he can be the Pippen. I still feel like if you're going to be driving midfield, you got to be feeding the ball to Chucky Lozano to get the most out of him. Do you like this move? Let's start here, Chuck. Do you like this move for Luca de la Torre? Do you like it for San Diego FC? And how do you think he's going to do? There's 3 parts here.
Yeah, I like it for Luca del Torre. I like it for San Diego. The pressure is going to be there, though. Think about every U.S. men's national team player who's in the player pool who knows that everyone's looking to have the best season of their life in 2025, heading into 2026, to try and cement your place into that 20, let's say 26, the 35, if there's going to be like that pre-World Cup camp. So everyone's going to be playing their best, giving everything they have. And you're a DP of a new franchise in MLS. Everything's going to be on you to create. So I like that he's taking that opportunity. He thinks, he'll be able to have more opportunities to play and be able to show his quality and stand out. So if he does it and stands out and plays, then great. That's why he made the move. But you got to be consistently great. And that's going to be the questions that's going to be asked of Luca Del Torre every weekend. Can he produce and can he be relevant every week? Can he be part of the story, right? Because Chucky Lozano's in the same boat.
Right. So we know that how much you appreciate and adore Mikey Varas as coach. Do you think Varas Mikey Varas it can get more out of Luca De La Torre? Chuck's over by his fireplace. He's pretending I don't hear him. All right, that's fine. Let's talk about our next one. I'm going to let Chuck go off unscathed on this one. We're going to leave him. Zeroti says, don't sleep on Luca in his hometown looking for a spot at the World Cup. We're not. We're not.
Zerote, nobody's sleeping on Luca. I just said this is a great opportunity for him. I think it's a good move for him, and I think it's a good move for San Diego. But now it's on him to perform.
All right. Well said. That's where I'm going to go with that. Last one. Lennard Maloney making the move to Mainz. Now, Mainz are currently 6th in the Bundesliga.
Don't call me Chirote. Chirote said.
So Mainz Mainz have 2 players that they play a 3-4-2-1, and they have 2 players that have been very good in where Lennard Maloney plays. The 2 holding 6s. Maybe one of them's an 8. I'm sure you got.
I think he's going to play center back though.
You think he's going to play a center back because they have Amiri and Sano, who have been excellent. I feel like for Mainz this season.
I think he's going to be playing more center back than D mid. I think he'll be used as I think he was brought in for depth and for rotation. I don't think he was brought in to be a starter. This team is flying. Like we know they're trying to push for Europe and they needed more depth. They needed protection, and that's why they brought him in.
Yeah, unfortunately, they were on a great run and came out of the winter break. They beat Bochum 2-0. They should beat Bochum given how well they've been playing. They lost to Bayer Leverkusen 1-0. Then they lost to Union Berlin 2-1. And, they got Stuttgart this weekend. Stuttgart's been very good this season as well. So a tough test for them. But, yeah, they're going to be in the conversation for Europe. You got to have some depth. So I like the move. I just wonder if it's going to limit his minutes. So you go from a team in Heidenheim who going to be struggling to stay up, and with a team that's now trying to get into Europe. So ultimately I like the move, but if it limits his minutes, that doesn't make me as excited, Chuck. That's all I'm going to say there. All right. Final thoughts. Tie it up for us before we let everybody go on this glorious Wednesday evening.
This is my final thought. Well done with U.S. men's national team camp for January. Well done with Pochettino. Well done to the players. They produced, they performed, they played with heart. For all of us watching, we can respect that. And I absolutely thought that they made the most of this opportunity, both from a federation and from the players' perspective. So a job well done. And that's the type of boost you want heading into MLS 2025 for a lot of these players who are playing in MLS. And now it's time to cook. Go back, take that experience, you know the demand, and cook.
Time to cook, says Chuck with the fire behind him. So we're going to let Chuck finish cooking, and we're going to say goodbye for this show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Best community on the YouTubes. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. No show tomorrow because we had a special one tonight. We'll see you after the weekends. And some
stateside footy.
Oh, and you know what? I will be in studio next week, Chuck. I don't know if you're doing morning footy, but I'm going to be doing morning footy next week. So
wait, are you in studio Monday?
Yeah, Monday through Friday, baby.
I'm with you on Monday, baby.
It's happening.
Let's
morning
go.
Footy, Golasso Network on Monday. Then you get to see us afterwards here on the Golasso America YouTube channel. Thank you for hanging out with us. Congrats to the guys. 2 big wins in January camp. Really well done. And we will see you very, very soon. Have a good week. Good weekend. Later.
Appreciate y'all.